Paloma Press. Today, a special report about Paloma's lockdown on Thursday, February 2nd. I'm Nicole Liu.
And I'm Savera Vakil. Before we begin, we want to explain our purpose is not to relive the events of February 2nd. Our goal today is analyzing how students, staff, and security responded under the stress of an actual lockdown emergency.
For accuracy, it's important to show certain images and hear certain voices to get a full understanding of how he responded. If you or someone near you is still struggling from the lockdown, viewer discussion is advised.
The emergency started at 11:30 a.m. after Menifee police made a dispatch call of a suspicious person, and moments later an active shooter at Santa Rosa Academy, less than 2 miles from Paloma Valley.
About a minute later, Paloma Valley was given the hold and secure command, with the intercom announcement that this was not a drill. Let's head out to campus and join our reporter Jaden Kelly, starting with the student response as our security team went to work.
It happened during first lunch, an emergency with hundreds of students out of class. And I was just wondering how you guys felt about the lockdown and when it happened, if you knew what to do.
I just felt really scared, and I feel like it just made me really scared, had a lot of anxiety, but it made me feel safe that everyone knew what they needed to do, and there were a lot of people protecting us.
Personally, I was in the band room, so we had the pianos and we had a bunch of heavy stuff to block the doors, so I wasn't really worried because we also had 2 exits in the room, so if somebody came in one, we could go the other. If he came in that one, we could go the other way.
And how did you feel about the lockdown, and did you know what to do when it happened?
I was confused at first because I didn't know if it was a drill or not, and then I just listened to my teacher, and that's it.
Knows that the teacher was ready for us to run if we needed to, fight if we needed to, or hide if we needed to.
We seen the police officers coming in from the side gate, and they did a whole thorough sweep of the school and keeping everybody safe. I don't think anyone really panicked for real. So I think they did a really good job on keeping us calm and keeping us safe.
In general, how did you feel the students responded to security instruction on Thursday?
Yeah, once they found out it was not a drill or anything else, they responded effectively.
I watched how quickly this amphitheater cleared within a couple minutes. The fact that you guys took the announcement seriously, a lot of you guys were calm, a lot of you guys asked the right questions.
Once we heard what was happening during the lockdown, we just did our best to make sure everybody was safe and make sure everybody was safe inside the classrooms and everything locked up, and we're prepared for the worst.
Everyone was empathetic and cordial to their peers at that moment, and that was heartfelt for me.
Is there anything you feel like they could have done better?
I think a lot of them, some of them did not want to go to classes and so forth, and didn't understand the scope of it. And then the other thing too was the danger. I think during the synopsis where they were trying to leave, knowing that the danger was outside of campus, that's the whole thing, is when they have directions that they follow directions because they don't understand what was going on.
That's the perspective on student response. From the lunch tables, I'm Jaden Kelly. Back to you in the studio.
For the next hour, students and staff remained hold and secure as the situation at Santa Rosa developed. But then police received calls a suspicious person was at Paloma and armed.
The campus was quickly placed on complete lockdown, including the command to barricade doors.
When we went from hold and secure to lockdown, they were ready to put that barricade up, and they all jumped in and got it stacked and got us secure, and I was very, very proud that they knew what to do.
The hold and secure was pretty much the first level of it, and okay, turn off the lights, lock the doors, but everybody just kind of stay calm. It got a little bit more intense when she announced, okay, now we're on lockdown.
As everyone slid tables, stacked chairs, and placed large objects in doorways, some had questions about the doors.
How can we barricade the doors if it opens the opposite way?
Yeah, doors open the other way. They open the opposite way,
What you
exactly.
mean
Reporter Hoku Nakasone breaks down the barricade issue.
During the lockdown, students and staff were told to barricade the doors, similar to this one, but here's the issue. The doors open this way, which clearly exposes the barricade, but there's a good reason for it. So in general, why do the doors on campus open outwards?
So it's part of the International Building Code, so in case of an emergency, you want students, staff to be able to exit a room freely. So that's the main reason why you want that door opening outward.
Okay, and then in the events of a lockdown, why is it still beneficial to barricade our classroom doors?
You want to slow down your attacker from getting access to the individuals inside. So what I recommend is by having something in that doorway, whether it's a cabinet, especially it would be my recommendation, it helps slow them down. Because most of the time, if you look at active shooter situations, they're really trying to inflict the most damage in the shortest period of time. So you're giving yourself maybe precious seconds, maybe even precious minutes. It could be even longer where they're seeing, hey, all this stuff I have to get through just to inflict the damage I want to. I'm going to just move on to somewhere else. So by having our students and staff on campus block that doorway with as many things as possible, that's going to help, I hope, in saving your life.
The doors open outward so that students inside of classrooms can leave easily in case of any emergencies. And we barricade the doors during lockdown to slow down any potential suspects. I'm Hoku Nakasone, per Paloma Press, back to you in the studio.
After an hour and a half of lockdown, no suspicious people were found on either campus. Menifee police determined the threat to be a false alarm. Students were released to parents shortly after. Reporter Alessandra Pimentel spoke with Principal Dr. Jennifer Tomasian to get her thoughts on how the school as a whole responded.
How do we respond in general to that situation?
You guys did great.
Yeah.
Like I said on the intercom the next morning, like you all did amazingly well in that situation. Even though you were scared, even though you didn't have all the information, even though I didn't have all the information to be able to give you, you all did great and you followed directions, you stayed calm, you got into a place of safety.
Mm-hmm. And there was like misinformation about the incident. Nobody really knew what was going on. How do you think we could filter out that information better next time, hopefully if it never happens, but just in case it does, how can we do with that?
I think one of the things that we all learned is taking the information that we're getting and like you said, filtering it. And so sometimes we see information and then just pass it on. And that becomes then part of the narrative, whether or not the original information was true. And so there was a lot of sharing on social media of various different platforms, which was misinformation. And I don't think that anyone was intentionally sharing the misinformation, but because what they saw, then they instantly posted. And so I think it's important in those situations to make sure that we're getting a feed of information from a credible source. And so that's why, like, if you are on social media, you know, following our school, but also Menifee PD, the city of Menifee, locally here, that way you can be getting those official information pieces from the people that have the information.
Yeah. And that following morning we had a debrief with the staff. And what do you think that we could have done better, and what did we do good about the situation?
Some of the things that like we identified that can get better, some of them are structural with like different buildings, classrooms. But one of the things I want to talk to like kids about is when we made the initial call of hold and secure, that call means that there's some sort of threat off campus and that we need to secure into the campus. And unfortunately on that day we had some kids who, when they heard that call, were jumping the fence out. And so they were jumping off campus into what was the threat at that point. And so it's really important when we hear hold and secure, we know the difference, that means there's something outside campus we need to secure into the campus, because I would hate for someone to jump out into a very hostile situation. Yeah.
And since everybody was emotionally triggered and everybody was scared at this point, everybody just wanted to go home.
Yeah.
Never have I ever seen the office so full of adults, just parents just wanting to get their kids back. Has that ever happened ever before?
Not like that. I think, you know, the adrenaline that it caused, the fear, the anxiety, that's a very normal reaction for kids to want to be with their parents and for parents to want to come and get their kid. And so in that afternoon, after we had cleared the lockdown, we had almost 1,000 students checked out through the office. And so, you know, thank you to the parents that were really patient during that process. You know, and ultimately we were able to get each of the kids back with the parents.
And is there anything else you want to add?
I'm just really glad that like everyone is okay and everyone is safe. I will also say to everyone that it's very normal, even though we know we're safe now, It's still very normal to have all of those thoughts of fear and anxiety and to be triggered. What happened to us was a very real experience, even if the initial call was a false alarm and that there was miscommunication in it. Your feelings were real as you went through it. So take care of yourselves, drink some water, get a lot of sleep, and if you need to talk to somebody about it, talk to somebody, talk to a counselor, talk to the wellness center, come swing by, talk to me. However you're feeling is okay.
We hope this special report has helped you have a better understanding of the lockdown and our response.
With this information, in the event lockdown happens again, we can all be better prepared. We thank you for watching.
For the entire reporting team, be safe, be prepared, and we'll see you soon on Paloma Press.